And this one truth I can't deny it.
Bah. Oh. Wow, it's way too dark. Okay, so didn't do much today as far as anything that would be considered vloggable or worth vlogging about. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. How do so many of these other people have been vlogging like for years? Well, I mean, I guess obviously they have to plan out stuff ahead of time. I mean, how could they not? It's, but either that or, you know, they're just used to just turning on the camera and then acting silly and crazy and whatnot. So I don't know. I do have a joke. Maybe if I explain it, it might ruin it, but so there was two peanuts. They were walking down the street, and one was assaulted. If you get that joke, let me know down below in the comments. There. One was assaulted. Anyways, I thought I'd talk a little bit about something from my own life experience that involves the time when I first moved out to Florida, the Tampa Bay area, Florida, in order to pursue my dreams and as well, musical dreams, I guess you say. Well, the first time I actually tried to get real serious about forming a band, and which I did. So I graduated high school sometime in 2002, and about a year after that, I ended up moving out to Tampa Bay, Florida. Of course, my mom, she moved out there too, because she got offered a pretty good job over there. So I helped her move initially, and then I just decided to stay over there. And I eventually hooked up with a number of, I auditioned for a number of different bands and other musicians. And so I eventually met these two guys. Their names were Sean and Anthony. Sean was a singer, Anthony was a drummer. Anthony also played a little bit of guitar, but he was more proficient on the drums. And at the time, they were both around 18, 19 years of age. And I was also about 19. Eventually, after I met them, right away, we hit it off right away and started working on original stuff. In fact, they showed me two original songs that they had written about a year before they met me. And I was able to learn them pretty quickly and also add my own flair and stuff like that. And so then eventually we found a bass player, and his name was Joe. Though he didn't have that much experience playing bass, he was still proficient enough. So, and after that we started practicing. We practiced, I want to say, like 3 or 4 times a week until we could play our entire 10-song set list, all the way through without stopping. And eventually we did get to that point, and then we booked our first gig at a place called the Brass Mug in Tampa, Florida. I guess you could say it's pretty well known. A number of well-known bands have played there. It's kind of a small place, or at least at that time back then, it was pretty small. This was in like 2003, 2004. I don't know if maybe they've remodeled it since then. They might have. But wow, I'm losing a lot of light here. But so yeah, and I remember we were all kind of nervous before our first show, but nonetheless, it went off without a hitch. It was pretty good. And afterwards, we got paid and we went out to eat and we talked about it and decided to continue playing together from then on. And we did. Unfortunately, a lot of things came into play after that, and our drummer Anthony, he wanted to start exploring other avenues of creative. Wanted to explore other creative outlets, and eventually he did. Unfortunately, without really telling us that he quit the band, but he eventually did quit the band. And, at the time, we were all living in an apartment together, and it was pretty nice. It was pretty cool. It was like the first time that I was living on my own, away from home, and unfortunately, it didn't last that long. And then once we were able to convince Anthony to come back to the band because we were having a hard time finding a replacement. And not only that, we wanted to start playing a lot more shows, and so Anthony came back, but then when he did, he wanted complete control over every aspect of the band, and he wanted us to become less hard rock and more pop rock, like with a much more pop kind of influence. And that's not what I was about. I know that's not what our singer was about. Also, at this point, we were in between bass players, but we already had a couple guys in mind for that. So I quit the band, but then Anthony, he also wanted to kick me out of the band. Once he came back, he wanted to kick me out, but I just decided there to just quit, and which it sucked. It was pretty hard for me to do, but I did it. And it's getting way too dark. So anyways, to make a long story short, I quit and moved back to El Paso, Texas, which is where I currently reside. And all of this happened back in 2005, 2006. So, yeah. But of course, eventually, about 2009, I met another singer by the name of Frank, and he invited me to play in his cover band. I really didn't want to, but then he convinced me that he was open to working on original stuff, so I agreed. I said, okay, sure, and things kind of progressed from there until we had the band that we have now, Revolt. So I can't complain. I like a lot of the original stuff I'm doing now with Revolt. And there. And I should have tried to record this a little earlier, but I don't know. Anyways, hopefully maybe I can edit it a little bit and add a little more light. I don't know. You can see the light on my ceiling. But I guess I'll do it for Vlogmas Day 12. Yeah. Day 12. Thanks for watching this very dark vlog. Anyways, until next time, keep it real. Keep on rocking. Peace.